Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. Thank you for joining our webinar today. As you know from my LinkedIn account, my name is Maria. I'm the project manager for Summitech. I'm based in California. Let me remind you that we are recording this presentation. We are going to make an introduction. Then I'm going to make a demo on how to use the app and the web. I'm going to tell you about the costs for the solution, a questions and answers session, and what we can do next. Joining us today are our software and hardware gurus, two amazing engineers, and when I say amazing, I mean it. What's special about them is that they led the first team and the manufacturing team during the implementation of the ELD back in 2014. They continue upgrading the products that you will see today according to regulation and to continuously improve the experience of our customers. And they are always willing to help us and support our customers. So let's welcome Aurelio first and then Bernard. Guys, it's so good to have you here. So I give the virtual floor to Aurelio. Go ahead, Aurelio.
Good morning. At the end of 2015, the U.S. government released original version of the ELD law. Were tested with our application together with the Washington University during 2017-2018. That gave us the opportunity to be prepared better for last September release of the new regulation, because we already have a solution that was tested. We are implementing the new Canadian law inside the application. Our seller all over the US. Also in Mexico, we have customers that use using the Mexican norm. Also, we different features in the app to help driver carrier like it daily vehicle inspection report, new management for shipment, how is behaving their driver, their fleet. Our identification in the FMCSA is ATEDI. You can find us as certified applications. The app is Apollo. We are constantly improving, receiving feedback. Here, our customer, our driver, if you can go to the next slide, Maria Clara. The ELD violations are very expensive for everyone, for driver, for carrier. It is around 1,000, 10,000. Also, usually when the driver have a problem with the ELD, with the hours of service, they put aside for 10 hours to make sure they take the minimum rest that they need. A rule that is asking for the driver don't drive when they have fatigue, because that fatigue cause accident, or those accidents cause death. And this is a big problem in our roads. So I think the government, the Canadian government, the US government, the Mexican government, I'm trying to avoid that and forcing the driver to take the necessary rest. Will be enforced no matter what, because they're trying to avoid accident, they're trying to avoid death. And this is important for our driver and for our carrier to understand that. So I think everybody should be in that page.
Thank you so much, Aurelio. Now I give the floor to Bernard, who is the expert in hardware.
Yes, thank you, Mariam. I'm Bernard Debache. I am with Pacific Track. And so Aurelio gave you a very good description of what's the role of the application in order to enforce the hours of service rules. And on our side, we are basically the other component of the ELD, which is the hardware that is connected to the truck. And our hardware provides the information that is required by the HOS application in order to implement and enforce the rules. We are in a very similar position as Aurelio described. We started also around 2015, developing what became our ELD hardware product. And our goal was to have a reliable product that we would have full control in order to support our customers. To give you a brief idea of what the hardware provides, basically the hardware connects to the truck, and there are multiple interfaces. We have J1939 for heavy duty trucks. There is an older version for heavy-duty truck called J1708. So we support both of these versions. And there are also light or medium-duty trucks that are also subject to the HOS rules. And generally, these trucks have an OBD2 interface. So we designed first the hardware that had all these interfaces. Then we wanted to have an easy way to interface into tablets and cell phone. So we have a Bluetooth low energy communication link between the cell phone and our device. The third component is a GPS engine. So all our devices include a GPS engine, and this has two benefits. The first one is that the application, such as Apollo, does not need to use the GPS inside the cell phone or tablets, which is saving of power and generally better accuracy. Also, this allows us to support the fourth component of the product, which is storage. So we have storage in case that the truck is driven without an application connected to the device, to the hardware. This storage allows the device to record the events, so the driving cycle, and the application, so Apollo in the background, when finally someone connects with an application and a cell phone or tablet, will be able to extract the hours driven without the device connected. So our goal, as I said at the beginning, was to design a very reliable hardware. And again, two things here. So we design the hardware ourselves in North America. So it's not a piece of hardware that we took from someone and rebranded. So we are very proud of our hardware design. And as you can see on the pictures, we are monitoring very carefully how the hardware is produced, tested. So again, we wrote our test specification, and we have very tight control on the manufacturing process of our product. And on the multiple tens of thousands of devices that we have sold, we have had a very, very small defect rate. So that's the first component of the quality, monitoring the factory and designing hardware that's reliable. But the other component is the firmware. So we also design all our firmware in-house. And our goal has been, and I believe we have achieved that goal, to support all the trucks that are on the roads, at least in North America today. And we have been very, very careful in our design, and we are always supporting our resellers if and when we hear that a truck is not working well with our device. Very often it's a truck that has been modified or has a problem itself, but in a few cases we had flaws in the firmware, and we generally fix them very, very quickly. But at this point, I believe that 99.999% of the trucks driven in North America are compatible with our devices. So that's a good news. So just to follow up on what Aurelio said, I believe there are three components to successful ELD deployments. One is obviously our hardware, so reliable hardware. The second one is a reliable application, which is Apollo is a very reliable application, and we have been very happy to work with them. And the third one is the reseller who basically put all these components together and support the customers, and that's Sumitech, and we had also a very good relationship with Sumitech. So I believe that today you are going to hear about a very good solution, and on our side, Pacific Track, we are very happy to be part of this solution. Our goal in designing the product is to be, as I said, compliant with every truck that's available. That includes having cables for all kind of trucks. So Volvos have 2 or 3 different cables. OBD2 is a different animal. So we support our resellers by having all these cables in stock. Generally, every order placed by our reseller is shipped the same day. And as I said, we have every single possible cable and interface in-house. One thing we did also is we didn't stay or focus only on supporting the minimum required by the law for hours of service. And we have added features to our product to add telematics features. And that's maybe something that Maria and Aurelio can tell you a little bit more about a little bit later.
Yeah.
Speaking of software, we support our hardware also with SDKs. So application developers such as Apollo use our SDKs. So we focus on the communication aspect, basically the low-level stuff, and they focus on they focus a lot on the stuff we don't know anything about, which is what Aurelio described, which is being in compliance with FMCSA or Canadian equivalent rules, implementing a nice user interface that is comfortable to be used by the drivers. So I think we have, each one of us here on this call has our own field of specialty. And again, as I said, it's a very good association.
Thank you very much, Bernard. Okay. Thank you very much, both Aurelio and Bernard. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the time to set up this solution. So if you're going to implement only ELD, after the order is placed, it takes 1 week to arrive. If you're going to implement ELD and GPS, after order is placed, it takes 1 week to configure the GPS reports, all the things that you would like to have for the GPS, and then 1 week to arrive in the mail, ready to use. I'm going to show you application. This is for Android, the one that I'm putting bigger. This is Android, and this is for iOS. It could be iPad or iPhone. So drivers also, they can download the application on their cell phones, or if you want to have a specific tablet for that, they can also use that. So here in the Android, the menu is in the right-hand side. So if you click on the 3 little dots, you will see the menu. It will show everything on the menu. And for the iOS, the menu is at the left-hand side. Click on duty. When they begin their day, it will ask it, and it will give options to the drivers on what they are doing. So let's say they are going to do the inspection, the pre-trip inspection, and press OK. It's going here, it asks for the mileage because I'm not hooked with the connector to a track, but normally it won't ask for the mileage because it will get it automatically from the connector, from the device, the hardware. It will remind the drivers to do the vehicle inspection, and then it will begin to count the time that the driver is on duty. So you can see in this digital clock how long he's been on duty. Also, it will tell in these circles the time for each of the statuses, and also it will show them like a reminder that they have a possible violation in 13 hours and 59 minutes, so that they have 14 hours to be on duty. Those are all the like warnings for the drivers to be on top of their hours. Okay, so let's move on to the driving. If we are hooked, if the application is already synchronized and with the hardware, with the device, it will go automatically to driving. But now I'm going to press it manually. It will always ask the driver, are you sure you want to change your status to driving or whatever? They can have cancel, okay. So they will give them some assurance that they can always go back and redo their, if they are doing a mistake. So let's say we are going to, the driver is fueling and it's putting 100 gallons of diesel. This will give a report that is required here in the US. It's also the IFTA report. Is it included in the regulation for Canada?
No, not right now. In Canada, there is no IFTA report right now.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now they're driving, and while it goes to 1 minute driving, you can see here in the circles, it begins to get green. but when it's 1 hour left, it will go red, so that the driver knows that they have just 1 hour left. Here there are also some icons that show this D. I will click on the D, and it's telling me that I didn't do the engine synchronization, as I said, because I'm not connected to a track. But that's an indication, as well as these icons. This is the icon for the Bluetooth. It's in red because I haven't connected through the Bluetooth. And this is the engine data that I'm not receiving because I'm not in a track. But this is the information the driver will get. This will turn green when the diagnostics or the synchronization is done by the driver. Okay, so now I'm going to move to off-duty. So those are the 3 steps they have to follow every day. It's very simple, very easy. They just have to click on the statuses they want to use. Now I'm going to show you how it looks like in the logbook. So you go to the menu and select logbook, and you will see first each of the logs that we created today: on duty, driving, off duty. Also show logbook. You can see the logbook, what we did just today. On duty, it shows it went to on duty, then to driving, and then to off duty. If they make a mistake and they want to make any additions, that is possible. It's very easy to do it. They just go to this icon, to the little pencil and paper. They go there, and let's say this was not on duty, but we wanted that to be sleeper berth, let's say. So click on the square and then select sleeper berth or personal use, yard, whatever. Let's take sleeper berth. And that's it. That's the way they can change any mistake they make, or they can edit anything if they get violations. Here you will see the violations. There's a list of violations, and sometimes those violations are just by mistakes, and so they can correct those mistakes. That's in terms of the logbook. If they get pulled over by an officer, they just click on the police officer icon here, and they can just print display logs to show it to the officer, view as PDF, or send by mail. Here they can put the badge of the officer or the comment they need to put, and then they will get the logs. So here in the iPhone, in the iOS, they get 17 days before of their logs. And here we are going to see the last logs for today, what we did today. And in Android, they get 8 days of, well, it's according to regulation. So they will get whatever is according to Canadian regulation. And if the officer wants to get the report, the driver just clicks on export. This is FMCSA, the US Transportation Authority. But for Canada, they send it by mail. So they will put here, again, the badge of the officer or the comment, the name of the officer, and then the email of the officer. That's the way they proceed during an on-the-road inspection. So to leave from this safe zone where the drivers don't have to show anything else to the officers. So you just to go back to their logs. Okay, that's mainly what we can do here. As you can see here, it is showing that the driver has been off duty for 3 minutes. Another functionality that I'm going to show you very quickly is the driver vehicle inspection report. They can do their inspections. They just click on the plus to create a new inspection of the vehicle. As you can see here, we have the USA, Schedule 1, and Quebec. So we are going to do the Quebec one, the heavy vehicle, bus, or motor coach. let's say it's a heavy vehicle. So here it says, check any defective item and give details and the remark. So since everything is fine, these are all the components and requested by regulation to be here in the list. I'm going to go to the next tab and complete the inspection. So if there are any remarks, they can put them here, but it's a condition of the vehicle is satisfactory, they only have to sign it. So when they sign and save it, they can upload just clicking on the cloud. They English or French, let's say French. Are you ready to save the new inspection? Okay. And this is the inspection with the signature of the driver. That same inspection, you can, as a carrier, you can see it in the website. So the driver can see his inspection here in the app. Okay. So here on the website, I'm going to execute what I have in the Android. So what we have in the Android is that the driver was on duty. This is not the one that we were using. We were using this user. So this driver was in the iPhone that we were using. So you can see here that we changed it to Sleepy Bird driving off duty. So everything that the driver does in the application, the carrier will be able to see it in the website. The carrier wants to do any edits from the website, they can also do it from the little thing here. We'll see how it looks like. And it shows all the statuses and you can change them and then save the changes. Also in the website, if you have an audit to your company, here you can see the logs, you can select the dates, and you will see all the information, and you can send that information via email. For the US, we can send it directly from the website, but for Canada, it's going to be the email. Let me show you. This is the last day, what we did today. Here we can see the same information. Okay, and another nice tool that you have here is the dashboard. So you can see, for example, compliance of the whole company drivers. When you execute, you will see a summary, a dashboard with it says here 30 violations in the last 30 days, 12 unassigned driving, 59 ELD compliance, 59% with some graphs. And also you can see details of those measurements. So here you can see that all the drivers are good. This one is, he left 1 hour and 27 minutes for driving hours, but all of them are in good shape. This one is in red. If maybe he forgot to change on duty, he can easily change it as I showed you from the app or from the website. Another nice tool that Aurelio mentioned is, and is part of the continuous improvement of the solution, is that you can create shipments. Those shipments you can send information to the from the shipper to the receiver to the warehouse, to be in constant communication. For example, the warehouse can send an email saying the bay assignment for you to park, for the driver to park, the recommended parking area, and any notes. So these are additional tools to the specific hours of service, are like added value items. And as I said, violations, you can see them from here. The report, the driver vehicle inspection report that we just did, I'm going to show it to you right now. So for the report, just execute and download it. So here is the report signed by the driver. So we'll continue with the presentation. The next item in the agenda is the cost for the solution. If you're going to implement only ELD, the cost of the hardware is 168 if it's 1 to 4 units. If it's 5 or more, it's 153. This is including shipping, Canadian dollars. The monthly fee is $12.75 per driver. And installation zero, as I said before, it's plug-in use. But if you want, for example, that everything goes inside the dashboard or something special, the cost here, 7x24 support, this is optional. You would pay for Canadian dollars additionally. What we have as added value items is that you will receive an initial online training for fleet managers and drivers at zero cost, electronic quick user guide as per regulation that should be kept in the vehicle, that's zero cost, YouTube videos, also an electronic manual with step-by-step instructions on all what you have seen today, and also on-call support upon agreed schedule, that's also at zero cost. If you are going to implement GPS plus ELD for the GPS service, it's $15.61 per truck per month, and the same $12 per driver per month. One-time cost for the SIM card and activation, and the same cost for installation. Okay, it's a software that we provide. It was developed in Europe, is highly used in Europe, and 20 years of experience in the telematics business. We've been providing that business from 1996. GPS platform, which is different from the software that we showed you, is used in 130 countries. Powerful analytics, notification system, and there's a lot of functionality. There are many modules, logistics, routes, agriculture, modules for people, for vehicles, reports on driver performance, reports on anything, stops, parkings, geofences, in and out. That one is constantly updated to more information and functionality. Okay. So now our next item in the agenda is what we can do next. Okay, based on our experience from 2017, when the regulation was in place in the US, the drivers, since they are not very familiar with technology, it takes them about 3 months to be totally comfortable with using the app. The sooner you implement it, the better. What we can do next. So we have a 1 month free trial app or complete solution with device purchase. Also, we can make a presentation if you want, showing all the functionality more in detail, or a presentation to your team. You just let us know what you would like to do. So that's all for today. Thank you very much for attending our webinar. If you have more questions, you can send them via LinkedIn to my account. So thank you and have a good one.